Let me unmute us and let me put us on camera. We can show it before, a little show and tell before the show.
Okay.
And we'll test out the audio levels since your mic is pretty much new now that you have a new mic stand.
Yeah, hopefully nothing else changed. I just haven't used it in 2 weeks.
Right.
So who knows what Windows updates changed it.
All right. There we are. And all right, we are up.
All right, we'll share the new toy.
Yeah.
The most important one.
Little pre-show show and tell for those who tune in to the stream.
So this is our new baby to the collection here. Palmetto State Arms AR-15.
Sick. Sick, sick, sick.
I just added the Hollow Sun green holographic sight.
Is that the same one we looked at the show?
Yeah.
The gun show? Same exact one?
Over there. The same exact one. It takes a battery that lasts for 50,000 hours, but also has a solar panel on it. So it'll drain the solar energy first when you're outside and then switch over to battery, so the battery even lasts longer than it says.
And you'll never use it for 50,000 hours, so.
And then that you can flip over if you want to just look straight down.
All right, very COD-like. I've seen that in video games before, so we know it's real.
And then just flips back over. I'm really, really happy with this gun now. I have my foregrip, my angle grip coming in a week. Should be here the 1st, actually. It'll be here Friday. But yeah, the scope on this is, I mean, dude, it's just so clean.
It was sick looking at the store.
It's just really, really clean.
Can't wait. It's going to be fun to go shoot. Now we just have to find ammo.
It really, really will be.
Now we just have to wait to go find ammo.
That's really the only thing. I mean, I'm going to buy just a little bit to have.
Yeah, I mean, just
for the home side. But, God, yeah, I really, really love it. I'm very happy with the purchase. Thank God I had the gift cards, because I don't think I would have got this same combination of scope, and I mean, it cost more than the rifle did, you know?
Right.
Not really, but it cost
just about.
Same price,
just about, which is insane, but
yeah. And this is like a mid-range optic.
I guess because the optic has electronics. That's how you can justify it, right? Electronics are going to boost the
cost. Some optics are like crazy, like couple $1,000.
Oh my God, they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's pretty. Now I want one. I bought a tablet instead. That was my big purchase for myself.
June, I will get the 22 MP5.
You are?
Yeah, I'm going to get that for my birthday. Assuming it doesn't like skyrocket in price, but yeah, that's what.
AR will be probably the next one. That's the one I've been wanting.
AR is just a classic American rifle.
Right.
If I didn't get the AR and I was going to get another like rifle style gun, it would have been the AK-47.
Well, yeah. Those are pretty expensive, right? If you want like a real.
No, you can get it for like 900, 800, 900.
Oh, okay. So about normal.
For like a really good one.
Right.
Like Corey's is like 900, and then that's the one that he bought the magazine for.
Yeah.
Which he sent me a picture of that. It looks beautiful with that magazine on there. I mean, it's like a very clean looking gun. I told him to post it on gun porn because his gun in general, like, just usually does well on there.
Right.
I was like, he posted with that magazine, and it's like game over.
Yep. Gotta go shoot.
I have more magazines than I do bullets right now.
Even just to go to the shooting range, you know? Like, even if you don't have bullets for that, just to go shoot anything.
Yeah.
We haven't been in a while.
I need to go shoot my 9mm just to, like, stay on top. Like, stay sharp with it, too, you know? If so much time goes by, it's like a comfort level every time of getting used to it again.
Yep. Agreed. I'm down. There's the one place near my house. Great. That one we went in Grapevine is really nice. And then there's the one near my house that's not bad. Shoot Smart.
Yeah.
They're not bad range.
There's so many that we have an option to go to. It's just going.
Yeah. All right. Well, you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
We got to, if Adam ever comes in town, we'll have to bring him. See how a military boy shoots.
Probably put show us a thing or two.
He'll probably put us all to shame. All right, let's go before my computer blue screens again.
Did it blue screen on you?
It did. I sent you a picture when I was like, man, my computer's acting funny. I'm going to reset. By the time I was able, because I had a hard reset because my mouse wasn't registering. By the time I even got to the shutdown button, fucking blue screen. I was like, oh, well, at least I wasn't crazy. Something was wrong. I don't know what, annoying. But something went horribly wrong. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Welcome to episode 377 of the Center Ring Esports podcast. And this is going to be the best episode ever because we have Valoranting, as we have plenty of Valorant to get to. Also a very special clutch or kick, as we are able to whip that up right before the show, telling you stories and news that are either going to clutch or kick. And, of course, a loaded e-news. We skipped last week, so we have quite a bit of e-news to touch on as well. But before we get to any of that, let me tell you about Philly Esports. They are friends of the show, and they should be friends of yours, as they host multiple monthly online and in-person events now. The world is here. When Philly Esports, that's what I always said. When Philly Esports goes back to in-person LAN events, you know the world is in the right direction. And we are there, folks, because they are started in-person events. In fact, April 23rd, if you want to get your pants wet a little bit with their Apex Legends Trios in-person event sponsored by the U.S. Army, prize pool is $2,000, and it is completely free to sign up. April 23rd. Go to phillyesports.gg. You get you and two of your friends, sign up completely free. And you know what? You tell your friends you'll cover that's how you do it. You don't tell them it's free. You tell your friends you'll cover their registration fee. Don't worry about it. And they don't know the difference. You're the good dude who signed them up for the tournament. So go to phillyesports.gg and do that right now.
Hey, it's JasonR from Optic. You're listening to TCR.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to another edition of the Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, presented by Philly Esports. Episode 377, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date is 3/28/2022, the time 9:25 p.m. Central Time, of course. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Join the Discord. Link is in the description of that said Twitter account. Be a part of the conversation there. Play some games with us. All that fun stuff. My name is Tim. I'll be your captain for this journey into esports. And alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend. It's Anuj.
Tim, look, I want everyone that's not watching live to see. I have finally fixed my arm mount. Got a new one. That's how I fixed it. And excited to be back. So hopefully my voice sounds back to the way it was. Music to your ears.
See, now we have to adjust it because your other mic arm was so gimpy. So try to move this mic a little further back. It's the same mic, but it's just like, I guess the fact that this holds it steady.
Like, is this better right here?
Oh, that's beautiful. That's
I usually don't put it like so high up because it shadows my face.
I think it's more farther away is the distance. Because when you get excited, you sound a little hot.
All right, how are we now? How are we now?
That's better.
Okay.
Just try to stay that tone. Either that tone or move it further away.
Let's find something boring to talk about, and I will stay monotone the whole show.
All right, let's talk about Overwatch. Overwatch League 2 again. We could talk some League of Legends. Is that boring enough?
League would be rough right now. Talk about TSM.
Talk
That was
TSM.
fun. I got some good drama going on.
We can go back and recap the very beginning of this VCT tournament for this year. If you want to talk about that, that's somewhat boring.
Well, we do have a lot of teams qualified for
now
VCT.
It's getting exciting. Now this is where you get our attention, Riot. Okay? Too much esports going on to watch, to care about no-name teams competing. Unless you get like the random spicy early elimination. But for the most part, and we've talked about it. I mean, listeners of the show know our beef with the VCT format. We don't need to dive into it. But we do have a lot of...
We have some Valoranting today. So we're going to be able to talk some Valorant today at least.
Yeah.
We'll catch up there.
And a quick clutch or kick, which is everyone's favorite. Always controversial in the world of clutch or kick. So
just know when clutch or kick pops up, it usually means that Tim and I have 3 or 4 things that we could turn into a segment, and we want to talk about them all, but we know we can't do it, and it's probably not worth it to do it a week from now. So that's where clutch or kick comes from.
That's right. Or we have it's either we have too much to talk about, so let's throw it into one, or we have nothing to talk about. And so we're like, how can we take 3 bullshit e-news stories and put them in there? But that's not the case this time, because these are actually like topical comments and topics and things like that. So just a little peek behind the curtain for all you wondering. If you tuned into the stream prior to, or you can go on YouTube, Anuj showed off his new baby, his new AR-15. So check that out if you're a gun person. We're gun people. Went to the local gun show here just last week, and that
was pretty cool. Like, I didn't know how that would be. I've been to gun shows before, but this was in the middle of Texas Motor Speedway. So for those of you that are not from the area, it's obviously our racetrack over here. Yep. They put you in like the middle of the grounds, and cars are lapping around you, like doing practice runs, and
very really Texas. Cool. It's very Texas moment to have NASCAR's driving around you while you go to a gun show. Is
it really was.
Can't get the only thing missing is like horses. Like if they found some way to put a horse there.
So funny. I was playing golf right before the gun show, and I was with 3 of my really, really like good older Indian friends that I've known for 30 plus years in most cases,
which are different than your white friends.
Different than my white friends. So they wanted to go to the bar afterwards at the clubhouse to go get some drinks. We were at a really nice course, Texas Rangers here in Arlington. And they wanted to go get some drinks, but I'm like, man, I kind of want to go to this gun show. Like Tim and Corey are headed up there. So I want to meet them up there because I'm also looking for some stuff for my new gun. So they're like, what are you going to? I was like, I'm going to the gun show. And they're like, where is it? I was like, oh, Texas Motor Speedway. Like, I'm realizing what they're thinking. It starts processing what's going on in this moment. And it was more like, okay, that's weird. Like, I didn't know you were that into that stuff.
For
and
people
I was like,
who either aren't from Texas or aren't gun people, yeah, like it is difficult to like explain to them. Like, no, it's just like it's like a room just full of gun stuff. And
I was like, it's accessories, parts, full builds, like ammo,
and like
knives.
I didn't even buy anything, but it's like a $10 to go in and you just look at guns. You're like, oh, this would be cool to own. If I'll never buy it, but it would be cool. It's also
like fun to like walk around and be like, okay, oh, that is something that I actually do kind of want, or want something like that, and you can cut a deal and negotiate with them a little bit. And so, I came out with just a handful of magazines because that's what I needed for my AR, and didn't find the attachments I wanted, but it was still fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's good times. And I'm glad we went on Saturday because my spring started in my household yesterday on Sunday. So we were out doing yard work, getting the yard ready for spring because it's starting to heat up here. And man, I don't know what I did. The back of my neck, like when the shoulder meets the neck, I can't move. Like okay. if you're watching the stream right now, like I will not be able, like I'm gonna have to move my whole body to the left to see chat. Is this
the area right here that I'm pointing at on my neck?
Right there.
Okay, I've had a neck pain for like, I shit you not, dude, like 3 weeks now, really consistently, I'm like, okay, am I playing too many video games? Am I looking at my phone too much?
It's never the video games, for sure.
I wouldn't think so, but I was like, am I looking at my phone too much? Like, why is my neck strained for like 3 weeks? Before I even went and played golf, I popped 3 Advil just to like be like, oh shit, I need to make sure like I can feel loose out there and not feel so tight.
On the bright side, though, it is like forcing me to have like the best posture of my life, because like I cannot.
Yeah, it feels better to sit up straight.
Right. So it's like I'm feeling good sitting wise, but man. And you know what? You know who doesn't give a shit?
Nobody listening understands what we're going through right now.
No, because we're too old for our listeners. And you know who also doesn't care about my neck pain? 2 children. They don't care either.
No.
So seriously, I'm a warrior. Like, that's all I'm saying here is I deserve some type of medal of honor for doing what I'm doing right now, because it's amazing that I'm even here with you today. But
I'm glad you are.
We fight on. Also, we have to talk about this before we get into Yikes of the Week. It has nothing to do with esports, but it is the slap heard around the world. You've seen it by now, whether you saw it live or not.
Yeah.
Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars last night. Like, this will be a moment that we can tell our kids that we saw.
Can I go first? Because I'm very opinionated on this topic.
Please do.
I'm going to start off by saying I absolutely love, in a fan sense, Will Smith. Okay, and Chris Rock, both of them Like, both of them individually, but like Will Smith even more because I grew up with Fresh Prince, and like that was like what was hot while we were growing up type thing. So we literally grew up with it. And all of his movies, kind of just appeal to shit that you and me are probably interested in. So I really, really like Will Smith. This was absolutely a terrible decision on his part. Like, I couldn't disagree more with how he handled that, because he is a public figure, which means you're used to getting ridiculed and mocked and made fun of, and especially him with his open relationship and his wife just banging other dudes on the regular. To me, Chris Rock's joke was so lighthearted, even if she has alopecia. Right. I get it. I don't think he knew that.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think he knew.
Even if he did, and he made that joke, that's like a very tame joke for some shit that he has probably heard in the past couple of years, based on like all the stuff that's came out about their relationship. So I thought it was in poor taste. Like, honestly, he shouldn't even be invited again to the Oscars, even if he is, nominated for something, because that's very disgraceful. And to slap a man, like,
it says a lot about how you think of other people, right? Like, even like, not to be dramatic about it, but you're absolutely right. Like, slapping a man this is maybe toxic masculinity in its finest here that you and I are about to talk about. But it's like, I'm more offended if you slap me than punch me in the face.
Well, Shannon Sharp said this on whatever show he's on this morning. That's why we say, I'm going to slap the shit out of you. Because it's like even more disrespectful to be like open hand slapped by somebody.
Right.
And
you're getting excited. Move your mic away a little bit. It's too hot. Like, it's picking up too much bass, I think is what it is.
There we go. Is that better?
Better.
Yeah. Well, this is a hot topic, so it is. You're getting heated. Happening.
No,
but yeah, just like such a shitty move on such an amazing night for him and his family. Well,
it's like you're nominated. They have you front and center for a reason. But like you said, like, the logic doesn't even make sense. It's like JasonR logic, which we'll get to here in a moment. But it's like JasonR level of logic on why you're doing something, and then using your wife as an excuse to do it. Like, it makes no sense. Like, bro, it's very open. Like, if you follow the entertainment world, it is hell, even if you don't follow it, but like are even on Reddit, very common knowledge that like Will Smith, well, I guess I should say his wife, is in an open relationship. Like, she like slept with their son's friend, had a full-on conversation about it in front of a camera, recorded it for everyone like a podcast. And he's just like, hey, as long as you're happy, I love you. That's what makes us work. Like,
and that's fine for them, but like again, that means you're used to being ridiculed because people are mean and they'll say whatever. So it's like it was such a tame joke, I thought,
right.
and he took it too far. This was actually a good nominee for Yikes of the Year if there was somehow an esports tie to this, because this is something that'll be remembered for. I mean, this can be remembered for a long time.
You will not be able to see an Oscar. I mean, and that's his first. That's his Will Smith's first Oscar ever.
Yeah.
Like, remember when Leonardo DiCaprio won his first Oscar and everyone was so over the moon happy for him and like his speech, and it was such a cool moment, right? This is like everyone's gonna be like, yeah, but he like
I haven't even seen
shit.
the speech.
You haven't seen his speech?
I've seen like clips.
Okay,
I saw clips of what he said, but like I didn't watch the whole thing.
My wife and I were watching a movie at the time, and I just happened to look at my phone. At the, I mean, within minutes of it happening, seconds, because everything was blowing up, and I was like, I think Will Smith punched Chris Rock. And so we turned it on right away, and it was like, you could tell there was something in the room going on, and then all of a sudden the award came out. I looked at my wife, I was like, if there's a God, Will Smith will win this award. Sure enough, he won it. He did his speech. And I mean, it was a load of bullshit. Like, what, you know, like,
he didn't apologize to him.
No. And then like afterwards you have him at the after part. I want to know what Chris Rock was doing the rest of the night. And that's what I haven't really seen. You know, like he handled it amazing. I know what I would have.
He handled it like with true class.
Oh my God. Like,
and that was like a big slap. Like he took it,
and you know, it's Chris Rock. The guy's witty enough to where he probably could have unloaded on Will Smith. Like,
the rest of the night.
Oh my! Yeah. He could have sat up there for an hour.
That will be for his next $100 million Netflix deal, and that will be included in his stand-up. He probably was like somewhat in the back of his mind, like, "Wow, this is gonna make me super rich because I'm gonna be able to turn this into great material."
They could charge $50 for that pay-per-view on Netflix, and I would pay for it.
Yeah.
Like, to see his next stand-up, I would pay.
It's going to be great.
Anything to watch that, because it's incredible. Obviously, I think anyone has seen it now. Like, again, you don't even have to be like, I don't get into Hollywood drama. This is not Hollywood drama. This is like human behavior drama at its finest. This is egotistical Hollywood macho man who, first off, did laugh at the joke. He laughed at the joke. This was, he looked over at his wife, saw her reaction, and was like, oh, I'm supposed to be upset about this? Like, I'd be like, hey, babe, why don't you get one of your other boyfriends to defend you on this one, okay? Because I thought that was funny. But just going up on stage in the middle of it all.
Ballsy.
And then yelling, like, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Like, yeah, the memes are everywhere. Like, there's been like 1,000 memes generated from it. You
almost wonder, like, did you know you were gonna do that? Like, why? I don't understand the logic behind it.
It's beyond a pop culture moment already. Like, we're 24 hours removed from it, and it is now like a cultural thing. Like, people are just gonna know this moment forever.
Yeah.
Forever. It's gonna be incredible to see how this all unfolds. Because you're right. Like, unless they just want to admit, because the Oscars are like a very uppity crowd. You know, like, they like to look like everything is peachy in Hollywood. They don't like to bring up the fact that, like, they're all child molesters and on drugs all the time. So the fact that he did this live on TV, some people were saying, like, they thought it was staged. There's no way. There's not a chance this was staged, especially when you look at, like, the unedited version of it, and to see how uncomfortable everyone else was I will bet both my children that this was not staged.
No, I mean, like, it wasn't. It was just so crazy over the top that I can't believe it happened. Like I said, a good little intro to Yikes of the Week, because that was the ultimate one.
Yeah, and as I said earlier with Jason R, man, talk about other drama. This Jason R Tarek drama, have you been keeping up with it?
I've seen the Jason R drama, like, for the last handful of years, right? Like, this might be the first time some of you guys have heard it, but
it's
like,
the first I've heard of it. Now, breaking news. I don't keep up with JasonR very often.
And neither do I. It's just like crap that I've just seen, right?
When we got the JasonR liner that I opened up the show with, was probably the last time I thought of JasonR, which was back in 2017 when he was with Optic.
No, from an esports fan's perspective, he was only relevant for those few moments he was on Optic until he quit before he was going to get dropped anyway at that point, So he had a small stint with Optic that kind of made his name bigger, and then he went into the streaming world, and he's done well for himself. He's a fairly popular streamer. But this stuff about him not wanting to play with women has been going on for, honestly, a couple of years now. It's been out there. It's just escalated recently with Valorant and the amount of female players involved in Valorant and his toxicity towards them in the game, and the fact that he doesn't want to play with them. It's all just coming together. And now you were telling me about this Tarek stuff that's happening.
Yeah,
with
so
them.
this I first saw on Twitter because Stewie tweeted out saying hey, JasonR, this ain't it, right? Pretty much hey, don't say Tarek is an elf, because that's what he called him, an L friend. That's a very hip way to saying you're a bad friend, but he's an L friend. And so that got people talking, saying no, Tarek is one of the best guys you can have on your side, and blah, blah, blah. And so let me play some of this audio for you. This is Tarek pretty much said, hey, let's talk about it on stream. Let's talk this out, Jason. And it turned into roughly an hour long back and forth that really you could put, this is just a random spot I'm going to pick in this hour long conversation, because I shit you not, it all sounds the same. They went around and around and around and around and got absolutely nowhere with it. So here is just some random 1313. This is where I'm going to start playing this.
Everything that's been posted about me, you've seen all the things that people are saying about me. And in your heart and you knowing who I am based off of all the times that we've played together, you believe that I'm some sort of fucking woman hater, misogynist fucking person.
I don't think listen, I don't think you're a woman hater. I think this is a personal private matter that is something that it's okay. It's something personal and private to you, okay? It's your situation. Okay. But
so then
yes.
Why do you allow people, and I don't care about why you don't, but this is a rhetorical question. Why would you allow people in your chat who are actively in your chat and to constantly call me?
Bro, I just literally...
So there's a minute. As you can hear, Tarek's mic being not audio balanced whatsoever. So that's pretty much what it was for an hour. It was JasonR saying, bro, I don't know why you aren't defending me on this, as a person. And Tarek is saying, because I don't agree with what you're doing as an action, so I'm not going to defend the action. And why am I going to I'm not going to fall on a grenade for you, pretty much, right?
It's not my place to jump in.
Yeah, hey, not, there's a Polish saying that we said in my household growing up is, not my circus, not my monkeys, right? So basically saying, not my fucking problem. So this goes back. And this is look, do I think JasonR is some sexist pig? Maybe, but if this is the only evidence you're presenting to me, I'm going to say no. Right? One act, I and that's just me. I'm a forgiving person. I'm a saint. What can I say? I don't think this would automatically make it to you. The yikes here, though. And he did tweet out, Jason, I will say, he did tweet out saying, Anuj, he's no longer going to dodge cues that have women in them. So he's growing as a person. But the reason he gave on this, on why he was doing it, was because he respected his wife and their marriage too much to play with other women. And that way, I guess early on in their relationship, he was bad to her, which, hello, that can only mean one thing, is that you probably cheated on her multiple times, or, at least once. And so now you can't look at another woman without either feeling bad or he's acting like he's like Ryan Gosling, like, you know me, these women talk to me online and then all of a sudden they send me nude pics. Like, what am I supposed to do? I can't, there's no possible way me, Jason R, can play with these women. That to me is the yikes. Is like,
yeah, like he just needs to come forward and say, admit a mistake that he made. This is a bad way to handle the mistake that he made, because it doesn't mean women are cheating on him. He's cheating on or doing whatever he did to his spouse. It's just the way he talks about women and the way he treats them when they are in his lobbies is like very immature. And it's just a bad look. You just need to grow up and act like an adult. And that's what he needs to do, right? Own up to your mistakes, act like an adult, move on, because you can move on from this if you learned something from it. Like, I'm not going to say he's a bad guy for life, like, I feel like people can change, and he can. Yep. He just needs to like take the steps to do it. And he hasn't. I don't know if he will. Like I said, this has been going on for a long time. It's just resurfaced in the public eye now. So we'll see. He'll either fake it or he'll, make the right changes. But he needs to do something, because he's taking continuous heat now for the past couple of weeks on this. And like I said, I mean, even a couple of years ago, same thing. So you think you would have learned something the first time. This is a second opportunity to show some grace here and save some face.
I understand if he like doesn't want to preemptively queue up with women, right? Like if he's like, hey, you know what? Out of respect for my wife, she's not comfortable with it because I was an asshole later on in life or earlier on in life. Whatever, like you said, everyone's relationship's different. You got Will Smith slapping dudes because they make fun of his wife who's openly cheating on him. So whatever, right? Who are we to judge how you deal with your own problems in your own relationship? But at the same time, like, you're queue dodging just because there's the chick in the lobby. Like again, you're Jason R. Like, she's just gonna throw her panties at you because you make one call out. Like, what's
pretending that your game crashed and stuff is like the stuff that he does to dodge the lobbies.
Yeah, like I don't understand his logic on that one, and I feel like he's kind of throwing his wife on the grenade for that, right? Like, hey, it's not me, it's my wife. It's like, hey, bud, it's you. So that's my yikes.
Well, Tim, my yikes comes from the world of Counter-Strike, and actually the world itself, because my yikes, Tim, is Russia, okay? And I want you to hear the loud and clear.
They're doing stuff.
They're doing stuff that I do not like, and now it's taken it a step further, Tim, because it's affecting us personally. And how do you ask? Well, rumors are surfacing that Russian players will not be able to attend IEM Dallas. Okay. This is a travesty for a number of reasons, because some of the best players in the world are Russian, that are not for this war, that have publicly spoke out against the war, and they're unfortunately not going to be attending the one event that I will probably go to this year, which is IEM Dallas, hosted at DreamHack, that Tim, myself, and a couple of our buddies will be at in June.
Actually, just got the dates off from work, Friday and Monday. So
yeah, and I'm out of town the weekend before that too. So like I have a 3-day week and then DreamHack.
Oddly enough, like we've been going to DreamHack since the dawn of DreamHack being in Texas, and it's like the 1 week like that my bosses actually come up to me and say like, hey, when's your gaming thing this year? So they know, like, they just know, like, listen, I'll work through my children's birth. I'll skip birthdays, but please give me this. Just give me this weekend.
Do you ever get PTO denied?
I mean, only because, I work in like it's not customer service, but we have clients, right, that we work with. So only like if a bunch of people have time off and there just needs to be people there to work with the clients. That's the only time. I mean, it's been forever and a day. For a reason, no, my work does not care about the reason. You could be like, hey, I'm gonna need this week off just so I could sit on my ass and not think about this place, and they'd be like, okay. They're chill. Fair enough. My work is chill with the PTO.
Good. Well, Tim, here's why this is a big deal, okay? Because you could have potentially off of just one team, Na'Vi, Perfecto, Boomich, and Electronic, all potentially not attending, which means Navi would not attend, which means we would not get to see our close and personal friend of the show, Simple.
Best friend of the show.
We might not get to see Monacy from G2. Jamie and Flit from VP. This is like, this could potentially take out like 3 out of the top 10 teams. Obviously, not even counting Gambit, and what they would have to, like their whole team. So it's disheartening. Obviously, the war is 100 times more disheartening, but it does suck that.
Of course. Hey, let's
like some of the fallout from it.
Disclaimer here. We obviously support for Ukraine. Everything about the war sucks, and we wish it never happened. And we hope it's over soon for the best, right? And the good guys win. That's our disclaimer. But can we be selfish for 1 second about it?
That's what this is, just being selfish for a brief moment in time here. Okay, we understand the bigger picture here, so it's more of a joke. Don't slap me for it, Tim.
We just wanted Russian players here.
What happened now? Russians here.
So why? So this is strictly because they're Russian. I thought we were past this. I thought teams were able.
It's because it's a U.S. visa problem.
Oh, the visa.
Yeah.
For whatever reason,
getting entrance into the U.S. from Russia, they say, is kind of with the Russian passport.
It's been so long since we've had like a real international event here on stateside. I forgot what a bitch getting visas over here were.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of a pain. So, IEM Dallas is obviously one of the biggest events of the year this year. It's happening right after the major, so that'll be interesting to see who is planning on coming. Anyway, depending on, because it's an IEM event, you expect all the best teams to be here, and
it's a Grand Slam event too.
That's like, so all the teams that are in somewhat competition for that are going to want to be a part of it, and so it is disappointing that we could potentially be missing a handful of the top teams because of what's going on. So the yikes is at Russia, and you, sir, Mr. Putin. How about we just like end this and move on with our lives here?
This is on you. I hope you're happy. So this is official though. Like they're not there. Is there even a chance? Did the article mention a chance of them being here?
It's saying that they're going to miss it.
Okay.
Like they're most
likely going to. At this point,
he goes as of right now, they cannot get American visas. So that could change. It doesn't mean it's a 0% chance, but at the moment, it's looking like that. They're not going to be able to get those visas obtained in time.
If I have to marry Simple for that weekend,
Simple is Ukrainian.
Okay, that's a good point.
I would still marry Simple.
I would still marry Simple. Nope. You're right.
Boomich, Electronic, Monacy. I would marry Monacy right now. He's like playing so well.
Did Boomich shave his facial hair? If Boomich shaves his facial hair, I will marry him. And then he can come in.
Yeah, because then he looks like a little teddy bear,
Right. And so now he'll come to the States, and we can make it work. Get him a marriage visa, probably easier than a working visa at this point in time. So that sucks. So I guess we'll see what teams are going there and how much it will make it suck, because like would Navi even show up with subs at that point? I don't know, but
I mean, you would think Navi just wouldn't come to that event.
Right.
Maybe they do, but 3 out of your 5 are gone. Like, what are you going to do here?
It is on Liquipedia, when you look at an S tier event, which is their highest event, including like majors and everything. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1 out of the 11 S tier events for the year. So, I mean, it is,
you know what they should do?
It is no joke. And it's the only S tier event in the States, which is kind of nuts.
They should call up Zeus, Flamey, and Guardian and bring like the all squad back together.
They could. That
would be sick. With Bit and Simple. That's enough. They could do that. That would be sick if they did something like that just to like play it out, but probably not going to happen. Probably won't see
those Russian heavy teams in there. So
I don't even know if Zeus or one of these guys would be Russian themselves. So
that's a good point. So anyways, that sucks. But you know what sucks more is war. So let's keep on keeping the good thoughts for Ukraine, and hopefully it ends soon. So A, peace, but B, we can get these Russians in here for IEM Dallas. That being said, friendly reminder, yeah, we are going to be at DreamHack Dallas, so we're not Russian. We will be there. And if you're going, hit us up. I know a few, I think Wolf will be there, one of our listeners. He messaged me, Anuj. He, I think, is going to be there.
Nice.
So yeah, we always do like a DreamHack survival guide. So as we always do the lands.
Oh yeah, there. I'm excited for that. I'm already been thinking about that. I was honestly thinking about that earlier today. Like, oh, that's gonna be a fun episode coming up. Like, it's been a while.
Yeah, especially because it's been a while for us, so we kind of need to do it too, just as a checklist. So exciting times. Good dude of the week. Our good dude of the week this week goes out to Epic, as they announced that they are donating proceeds to Ukraine for 2 weeks. Any money raised in Fortnite, the store, anything. It's 100% going to the Ukraine war efforts. As of this note, which I think was even as of a couple days ago.
It was.
Okay, so this is even a higher number now, but within days of them starting this, they were already at $50 million. So,
and this is going to people affected. So it's not just going to like the Ukraine military, you know, it's going to people that are affected by the war. So families that have been, you know, relocated and injury, you know, people that have been hurt and medical expenses. Like it's going to a lot of different areas. And I think that's just awesome on Epic's part. And they timed it with the release of a new season, which I thought was a really big thing of them to do, because that's obviously a huge income time frame for them throughout the year. They only have so many seasons in a year. So to do that during that time, I think gives me a different level of respect for them. I'm proud of them for doing that. I didn't think, you know, it's a lot of money, Tim. That's a lot of money they're going to be giving away over a 2-week span. And I know you and I still have some V-Bucks to spend, so we'll probably go ahead and do that before this is over, if it's not already. I know we're waiting for a couple of skins that we hope
I think it's like April. I think this is the last week, so this weekend is when it will be over with. So
pull up the Fortnite shot today. Just
they got some okay ones. Open. It's weird, and you know, again, this is for a good cause, but oddly enough, it's like they have not had good skins in the shop like for the last week. So
I want that Naruto skin, and I missed it. It just came back like right before we played the other day, so that was a little sad.
Yeah, so it's, you know, we'll keep an eye. I will, though, for the cause. I will do at least towards the end of this. Be sure I get one in there.
Yeah, so something.
Yep. So there you have it. Good guy for Epic for doing that. All right, let's get into some Valorant talk, as we have some follow-up stories, some late breaking news, and all that jazz. Let's do the follow-up one here real quick. So we talked maybe last episode, 2 episodes ago. I honestly don't remember at this point. Sean Garris not being invited back as talent for the event. He said he's going to now retire from casting or doing analyst work and look to do something more on the professional side. DDK also said that the event he was doing was his last event. Same thing pretty much. Couldn't come to terms. He loved casting, but just couldn't do it anymore. So then fast forward a few days, and bam, both of them sign with 100 Thieves. Sean Garris being the new head coach, DDK as the GM. Anuj, on paper, this is not clutch or kick. This is not clutch or kick. But on paper, if we want to play this game, my heart is telling me this is a clutch, but my brain is telling me, other than their names, there is no track record of this working out ever for a team.
I'll tell you I'm 50-50, and I'll tell you exactly why. I think Sean Garris as a head coach is actually a really good move, because I think he's just has the mind of an IGL. You need to be analytical in your approach to the game, and we know that his CS background will allow him to already have those, like his mind will already be working in a particular way.
He has the muscles,
so
right? The brain muscles.
Just gotta train him for Valorant, but he's already been doing that. He's already been an analyst for quite some time now, so it's not like the game is new to him. That's what he's also been playing, and you know, that's what he's grinding on anyway. So he knows the game really well. I think this could work out. Plus, he already has a level of respect from his players that he'll control the room.
And I think that's super underrated in sports in general, but esports especially, like in gaming. This is why like pugging never works out for people, because you never have just the instant mutual respect for your teammates, right? You always assume your teammate is a trash tier dumbass and they're the reasons why you lose the round, right? So like in gaming and esports, you have to have that respect. And as a head coach, it's invaluable. And Sean Garris has all the respect from everyone. Like, not only is he a former pro, played for the #1 Counter-Strike organization of all time, Cloud9, no doubt. He's handsome as all hell. And, he's a former pro analyst. Like, everyone loves him. Like, I've never heard one bad thing about Sean Garris.
No, and there's nothing negative to say about him. Like, he seems like he was well respected in every avenue he took in his gaming career. So I think that's a really good move. And to me, that is a clutch. On DDK, I'll tell you, like, it's not that I don't think he could potentially do a good job, but the track record for analysts or people in casting or whatever going into either a head coaching role or a GM role has not gone well. And to me, it's like very much a 50-50. I think one of them would do well, and I think one of them might hold, the other back in terms of what they offer. So I think Sean Garris will do a good job in his role. And my gut tells me that like DDK may struggle because that's just not an area of expertise. Like being able to analyze talent and bring it in is not what he has done. He has really he's been a great caster for a long time, has done majors, has done some of the biggest games in Counter-Strike, and has done fairly well in Valorant since then. That to me doesn't translate into the GM role. So that's where I make the distinction between the two moves. I think Sean Garris, give it an A+. I really like the hire. DDK, it's like a TBD, but I think early impressions to me are like that's a C- D+ kind of hiring, because there's no track record to tell you that he will be successful at this job other than he is a sharp individual and can hopefully learn the business side very quickly.
Yeah,
Henry
and he's
G
DDK,
thought the same thing, and that was a total disaster, right? So it's hard. Like Henry G, I don't think he's a failure for trying. Like it didn't go well, but it's very difficult to do, right? Like his plan and vision that he had. Some ideas were good. Sharing the information, I thought that was healthy.
That's great,
but it backfired so badly. So
as a Cloud9 fanboy, Henry G is still salt in the wounds for me. Like, honestly. And like it doesn't help either that like this last week did you see this tweet by Cloud9? This past week was their year anniversary of not having a Counter-Strike team.
That's great.
Henry
G brought talented people to the team, better talent than Cloud9 had seen in some time. The mesh was not right. Like the unity between those players was not there, and that's what I'm afraid of here. Is like DDK can probably recognize a good player, but does he know how to build a team? And that's what's really difficult.
Right. Henry G learned the valuable lesson of it's not just all about the name, right? It's not all about the talent. There is some meshing that needs to happen. So I don't want to get a downer on Cloud9 not having Counter-Strike team, because I think it's absolutely insane when you think of Cloud9 being a top 5 esports org in the world. Not having a Counter-Strike team is just insane.
Infuriating.
I would tell them to go buy.
We're also lack of NA teams to support, right? We have a handful, but that's really about it. So
go buy Gambit. Go buy Gambit. They're free agents, sort of. If you want to touch that one right now, I guess. But I digress. Yeah, the 100 Thieves signing Sean Garris and DDK. Look, like you said, I agree with everything you said. Like, I like them on their names. Sean, I have more confidence in as a head coach, as DDK as a GM. I also think like a lot of people we're giving Riot shit for not signing him on as talent. And look, I've talked about this before. I have over a decade worth of experience working paid experience in radio. I started out as a board op technical director. Hell, in college, I started out in college as everything, moved to professional, quote unquote, professional real radio station as a board op, worked the overnights, done the fill-in works. I was doing reporting at the games, like going in and interviewing players and coaches for the local sports teams. Then you go into the producing role. I was hosting, like, you knew me during that time in Nuge. You know how much I was working, and I was gone all the time. Like, I was on video games hardly ever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's just...
Your weekends were gone.
Yeah, my weekends were out for 18 plus hours of the day. I was out working, putting in the grind in radio. And then life caught up, right? You get a little older, you get kids, you get more responsibility. You go to radio and say, hey, I need more money. They say no. There's about 1 million people behind you willing to do this for this cost. And you say, okay, it's been real. I still love you, but I got my life to figure out. And I feel like that's what happened here. Like, no love loss, I think, between the two. Like, obviously, they're probably a little bitter. They obviously have a pretty sweet situation, right? They got picked up by 100 Thieves. But look, Sean Garris now is married with kids. He can't live and I don't blame him. Like, you can't live that unstable caster talent life, living contract by contract to see if you're going to get picked up for this.
But had they got picked up, I think they would have stayed.
Well, but picked up for their price. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but
right.
had they got picked up for at what they were asking for,
right.
They would have stayed during. I mean, the fact that they didn't get picked up is why they're making this change. But I think this is the better play for both of them long term, if it works out, right? Like for DDK and for Sean, both of them. If this works out, this is a fantastic move. 100 Thieves, what an organization to be a part of.
This is the safe bet, right? On their career move. You can always go back to casting. These two, DDK is a caster, right? Like, he is one of the best out there. Sean Garris is an amazing analyst on the desk. They can always go back to this if their price is right, or maybe Riot takes them back, or Counter-Strike takes them back, or something like that. They can always go back. You don't always have a chance to be a head coach or GM especially of an org like 100 Thieves.
100%.
So good on them. Congratulations. I guess it sucks that one didn't work out, but as they say, when one door closes, another one opens, Anuj. So let's hope that is the case for Wardell, as he decided to leave TSM, as TSM moved their teams out to Austin in Texas. And Wardell says, nah, not doing it. I'm going to stay here. I think in California, LA, if I had to take a wild guess. But he didn't want to move. He didn't want to make the move to Texas. So it was basically agree to part ways.
Okay, so he did say that tweet was very misleading and that it put him in a negative light. He goes, there's a lot more to the story, or a little, he said a little more, but you know what he meant. Like, there's more to the story than you're letting out. And he goes, I'm going to leave it at that, but there's more to the story. That's not why I truly left. And that's exactly what I told you. I don't think this is necessarily about moving to Texas. I think if this team was good and he really, like, they were a top 1 or 2 team making Masters tournaments, heading to Iceland here, he would have made the move. I really believe that. I think this is about a roster that has been dysfunctional since they made their initial roster changes and booting Drone from the team, who was a really questionable move at the time.
They've been dysfunctional for a long
They needed to make some changes, I thought, at some point where they made the wrong changes. And maybe that rubbed him the wrong way. Maybe he has seen the people that they brought in, and those are not people that he wanted to play with, where he didn't think they were the right fit. And if anything, if those are some of the reasons he was upset, then he's been correct. Like, this team has underachieved. He has been part of that problem. It's not like he has played out of his mind the way he did early on in Valorant's history. So I believe him when he says there's more to this story, because I don't think it's as simple as he didn't want to move to Texas, so we just mutually parted ways. Who do you know lets go of a talent like that without some sort of like, okay, we're going to sell you to another team? Like, mutually parting ways is very rare, and chances are there was a much bigger issue going on behind the scenes that we're just not aware of.
I believe too, and Sub Rosa, was Wardell the last of the original, or is
Sub Rosa was original?
Sub Rosa was original. So yeah. Sub Rosa is the last, and he's an IGL, so that makes sense. The last remaining player on that original TSM squad that was number one. You know, it was them and Sentinels, right? Like that was
Wasn't
the
it
talk.
Like Cutler, Hazed, and Drone?
Yeah. Yep. And then they had Brax for a hot minute, which didn't work out, and I mean everything else in between that didn't work out. But the rise and fall for TSM and for their Twitter to be so cocky is pretty incredible.
I mean, the rise and fall was so fast. It's been more the fall, right? Like the rise was there the first couple of months.
Well,
the game was
I
out.
think you saw a team that capitalized being good at a new game, right?
Yeah.
Like they were good. They had a good roster at the start while everyone else was still figuring it out, and they didn't adjust. They couldn't adjust.
You could tell they didn't have a true game plan. They were just better at the game, right?
Yeah.
And then once people started implementing heavy strategy, they fell off.
Right.
And that was expected. We knew some teams would. It's not like it's a big shock that it's happened to teams. Like teams catch up, metas change. Look at Sentinels. Sentinels didn't make Iceland. I mean, like that's a year ago, that would have been the biggest story in Valorant, you know, but like they've been struggling for a little while now, so it's not that shocking that they're starting to slip a little bit. So I think we'll still continue to see this for quite some time because new agents constantly are getting added. They're still buffing and nerfing characters like crazy, and that's part of the process of a new game, right? Like this is a 10-year game is what they're hoping for out of it. So we're going to see a lot of changes. It's still very early, although it feels like it's been a while. It's only been 2 years. We're going to see, look at Counter-Strike from year 2 to where we are now. You wouldn't even recognize some of the things that are going on in the game right now. So it's going to continuously happen, and rise and falls will be a common theme over the next couple of years.
It's just whether or not, and I say this as an NA fan, it's whether or not NA can withstand it, right? And not go the route of CS NA. Where and I do, like I said before 1,000 times too, I think that's where TSM went wrong early on, was their roster changes. I think they got too roster change happy, and they were just trying to, like, it's got to be this guy's fault. No, okay, now it's got to be that guy's fault. Okay, well, they were still sucking, so it must be your fault. And then they just kept rotating, you know, that third man out kind of mentality, and it was just kind of like, now they're where they're at, right? Now you dropped Wardell, which was in talks of tens, with tens being the best opper in the game. Like it's kind of, like you said, they really just let the best opper, one of the best oppers in the game, walk away for free. Like that just doesn't happen. Look at Clayster, right? In New York situation. He's one of the best in the game, and they're waiting out for his contract to lapse or whatever to be official free agent. So it's interesting to say the least. What's also interesting is Iceland's situation here, as we already have a team running into visa issues, as Fun Plus Phoenix, FPX, will not be attending. They did qualify. Unfortunately, though, because of visa issues and everything going on, they were not able to get them in time. They cannot attend the event. Therefore, Liquid gets in through the back door. They will be replacing Fun Plus Phoenix at the event. That sucks for them. I know I did see the tweet or the statement from Riot. They said that they're going to try and work out a way to where Fun Plus Phoenix can get some prize pool, because they did qualify.
They did this like last time too, didn't they? Like, I think one of the Oceanic teams or Asian teams couldn't make it to the event, and
I think that was
they gave them
Masters,
some sort of
right?
cut, like last place pay, or
Yeah.
did something. I remember they did something. So this is not the first time they've done it, but Really sucks for FPX. Obviously, that's a team that has been rebounding, and obviously they didn't make it to the champions, but they were one of the better teams also for the first year or so in Valorant's esports history. Like they were a name to be reckoned with, and then they fell off a little bit, and then this was like a great comeback story for them because they kept a majority of that same roster, and they've kind of risen here, and it's unfortunate that they're having to miss out, but their unfortunate situation has created an amazing opportunity for Liquid, a team that if we're gonna have to swap them out, I'm very happy that Liquid was next in line because it's a team that we all like and it's a fan favorite. So we are a little lucky and blessed with like Liquid was next up. No one's going to be disappointed with that, but you feel bad for FPX because they deserved it. They earned that slot. Liquid's getting a little bit of a freebie, but they are a good team, and it'll be exciting to see them there as well.
Yeah. No, it just sucks because Fun Plus Phoenix, for those who don't know, they were first, right? Like they were first in the EU side of things, right? So the EMEA, whatever the hell they're calling it nowadays. So it does suck that the first place team has to not show up, but yeah, we do at least get an org that everyone loves to see. You already mentioned it on the NA side. Weird seeing this. You have Optic Gaming, which was former Envy. That part's not weird. It's just weird to see Optic. I'm not used to seeing Optic yet in anything other than Call of Duty still. But so they ended up qualifying. I don't want to go down this rant here, but I saw someone tweet out that like, man, Optic Gaming qualifies, everything Hex touches just turns to gold. We got to give some credit here to to Envy side of this.
That's only it's Envy's team.
This is
it's
Envy's.
Just
literally nothing has changed since Optic took over.
Nothing has changed here other than the logo, Tim.
No.
So
I'm like,
this is
tell
great
me,
work by Mike Rufail and Team Envy.
Yeah,
that put this team
like,
together
tell me
under
you
the
don't
Optic
know
branding.
anything without telling me you don't know anything about Valorant, because that right there tells me you haven't watched a second of this.
Yeah, they've been
now.
great for a long time now.
Yeah. In fact, on the rise, too, on the NA side, right? Like, they've always been kind of top 5, but now they're finally creeping into being, like, consistently, like, hey, this might be the best NA team.
2 or 3 majority of last year,
Yeah,
but
you could always, like, have that. There was always the discussion of, kind of.
Like, it was like Sentinels is better than them, but really nobody else.
Right. But now it's here. Now you have, what's this other, the Guard?
Yeah, LA Gorillas and Gladiators' team.
Yep, with Seiya player in it, which is also formerly known as Spider, who was also formerly known as Seiya player, but then he changed his name back to his Overwatch name, which I think instantly made him play better.
And this is cool because this team also has they don't have him on the active roster. I was gonna say Psalm was also on this team, but they are made up of like relatively unknowns to majority of Valorant fans. So cool to see them get in and like just another like new faces for a lot of people to learn, but a big organization, just a lot of new names on the team, names that you haven't been familiar with on some of the other past champion teams, I guess you could say.
I'd love to talk to Psalm here in this situation, just to kind of get an idea of where he's at with the team. Psalm, for those who don't know, former Fortnite. He got second in the World Cup?
Former Fortnite, but like even former second in the World Cup, and he was also former StarCraft pro. Like the dude is like one of the best just gamers out there. So cool story, but I believe he's inactive.
He's on their inactive roster, but I wonder like behind the scenes though, right? He's inactive on the playing roster, but behind the scenes, like hopefully he's still getting some experience in that sense, because it was a big move for him to move over to Valorant. And so to him to even be a part of a team that is qualifying now for Masters and things like that, I think is, it's just a cool story. You just hope it's not just him sitting there twiddling his thumbs in the background and not getting anything out of it. So super excited to see. As you said, though, from the NA side of teams not being there, I understand times change and everything like that, but with Sentinels getting knocked out, they got 7th, 8th place in this event. 100 Thieves right behind them. Pretty piss poor performance on all their part, to be honest with you. We didn't really talk about it when it all happened because, again, these are qualifiers for qualifiers for qualifiers, so it doesn't really catch our attention when it actually happens. But nonetheless, we can say now, sucks that, we've said it before. It's like with those teams there, you have former number one in the world, everything here. Like, what do you do then now? Like, you didn't qualify for these tournaments. You're going a month or so without any activity. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, the NA side was a little crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of wish we had one more team available to make it through. I know that every region will say that, but it kind of sucks that it's just top 2. Honestly, I would prefer a bigger event. Like give every region another one.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I still am very curious. And I say this every time we talk about the Valorant and the VCT. I do not love the VCT setup.
No, like that's what I'm saying. I feel like they should expand it then if it's going to be this way. Like, have more teams have an opportunity to like want to keep their roster beyond this point.
Yeah. So Iceland starts on the 10th. So we still have an episode between now and then. So we'll probably save more of the discussion for like actual predictions and thoughts for next week. Let's do that. But we did have some, at least, drama early on with Liquid getting in. So there's that. Save that discussion for next week. All right, let's get into Clutch or Kick real quick, and we will knock these out and get some e-news out of the way. Anuj, Clutch or Kick? The very first one here. It was announced earlier this week. It was an announcement of an announcement. Sony has announced that PlayStation will be doing their subscription service. So much like the Xbox, what's it called? Xbox
Game Pass.
Game Pass, thank you. We're seeing these pop up more and more where it's basically they're putting in new games, their old library into it, things like that. I think Sony even announced that it's going to include what's in the PlayStation Now, which is, I think, their PlayStation 2 library that you can do online and things like that. That will be included on it. Clutch or Kick? Does this make you want to turn your PlayStation on any more than now?
No, I think it'll be cool if this becomes like a PC-based thing also, and all their games are also built for PC. Then I'm really intrigued, if that's the plan, long-term vision for them. But if it's like just a PlayStation thing, then I personally don't care. But that's because I'm not a console gamer. So it's like, bad person to ask in that scenario. But if this turned into an Xbox Game Pass situation where all their games are also built with PC in mind, then count me in. I would be a day one subscriber in that case. But I don't think that's what they're doing. So
no, I don't think so either for now, because some of that's going on Steam anyways. I might do like a month subscription just to see. I'll see what games. Honestly, it's probably more for the nostalgia games too. Like if they add like older games in there that I grew up playing from PlayStation 2 or all that, because I believe, and don't quote me on this, I don't think the PlayStation 4 is backwards compatible. So
I have to look where I put my PlayStation 4. It's like somewhere in my closet.
Mine is sitting here unplugged, not hooked up to anything, but it's sitting right next to me. I see it right there. If I could turn my neck, I could see my PlayStation, but I cannot turn my neck. So
yeah, I know mine's in the closet somewhere. It's just boxed up.
Yeah. So whatever. I think though at this point it's almost standard. Like they have to have it, right? Nintendo has something like it with their online stuff, so you kind of have to have it. They've been a little behind on that curve. All right, next Clutch or Kick. So I think it's both a kick for us, right?
Yeah, kick for both of us.
Clayster benched from NYXL. Clutch or Kick?
Me?
That's really the whole headline there. Clayster was benched. NYXL.
No, am I going first?
Or not NYXL. You put NYXL.
Subliners.
Being benched from NYXL would have been a huge story. Subliners. Our next one is Overwatch related though, so I'll give you the pass on that. Subliners.
For me, this is like, I mean, a clutch because they needed to make a change, a kick because I don't think he was the only problem on that team, right? So like the move is a clutch, although I hate to see Clayster not have a home. It's just this wasn't the right fit. Like this was not working. This team is terrible. I don't think just replacing Clayster fixes those problems for them, but it's a step, right? They have to make a couple more, I believe. The team is in shambles, though. I mean, they really couldn't be any worse. And I don't think Clayster's like washed and gone. Like maybe this is just not his game. He seems to think it is based on his response online, and obviously knowing him, you understand him being a competitor, he's going to feel that way. So I also don't think it's the end of Clayster. I just don't think this had any chance of rebounding and working. And yeah, I think Subliner stays a bottom feeding team, even if they just keep 3/4 of the roster the rest of the year.
Yeah, it was a weird thing because like when the new subliners were announced and you saw Clay and Crim's back together and like a lot of warm, fuzzy feelings were there. And I thought for sure this was going to work out. Like, there's no way this doesn't.
We both probably, I think, ranked them pretty high going into the year. You know,
I mean, I know I did for sure. So I thought for sure this would work out. Then quickly we saw that there was issues. Right, they were benching. I think it was Neptune they benched and then brought him back, and then it's just you all constantly heard like Clay and Crims were arguing, which Crims kind of calls out anyone. I think he is confrontational in that way, like, kind of never my fault, but it's going to be one of my teammates' fault, and I'll let him know it. And, I could see, I mean, obviously, he's Crims. He's one of the best of all time. He'll go in the Hall of Fame, no doubt. But I could see why, like, it rubs people the wrong way, especially, like, a veteran like Clay, who is also not going to sit here.
Them being on the same team only works if that team is winning. If
1,000%.
They're both very vocal individuals. So
1,000%. And they've both been around and have earned, like, the top
for sure. They both earned their spot to be able to speak, but they're both that way. So that makes for a relatively feisty situation if things are not going well. And I think that's exactly what happened here. And so,
yeah. So, I guess you have to say clutch in the sense, like you said, if you're looking at it from a team's point of view, it does suck because Clay is such a marketable player. I don't think, like you said, I don't think he's done. He did tweet out a teaser that he might be playing in a Halo tournament here coming up. So obviously not anything like official. Well, you also have Kansas is coming up, the Kansas major. So maybe he got on
Philly esports.
Maybe
that'd be sick. I'd join in just for that.
Yeah, maybe he can hop on our team. I might have to reinstall Halo. I don't know if I uninstalled Halo. It's been long enough to where I probably could uninstall Halo, but
yeah, that's a good point. I have it installed. I should uninstall.
Just I can't. It hurts too much for me to if I uninstall it, then I admit that it's officially dead. Right now,
it's dead. You can admit that. It's okay. It can come back to life, but it's dead right now.
So yeah, it sucks to see Clay, but like you said, when you've had a season that New York's had, you got to do something, right? So
yeah, you got to make a big move.
Yeah,
I think this is again one of many that need to be made, but very rarely do you see a team just turn it around with one roster move. Like it just doesn't happen that way in Call of Duty. Like it's going to take a roster overhaul for this team to come back to life.
Yeah, because I just don't think and that you can say this with any game, right? Especially like if it's a 4-on-4, that's 25% of your roster right there. So it's like if something's going wrong, if there's something bad, it's like you have to bring in you have to almost get lucky with like a rookie, right? Like some unknown talent that is just going to frag out for you because strategy wise, I mean, you still got 75% of the roster there. So that's not going to change. But last clutcher kick here, weeks before the Overwatch League kicks off, we have yet another huge retirement coming from the league side as San Francisco Shock Super decides to hang up the mouse and keyboard, retiring just 2 weeks before the season, saying in his twit longer that He's been on the fence about it for a long time, and then once practice and scrim started picking back up, he was like, you know what? I can't do it. Like, it's just the grind is too much, and I can't do it. So he announces his retirement, focusing on streaming. Clutch or kick on just another Overwatch League player retiring? Does it give warm, fuzzy feelings before the league kicks off? I will go first on this one, and I'm going to have to say, I don't know what perspective the answer or the question is, but I'm going to say it's another kick in the nuts to the Overwatch League, because Super was kind of your last poster boy of the golden era of Overwatch League. Like, very few guys from that golden era of Overwatch is still around that's like somewhat marketable in the mainstream media. And I don't say that in like a racist kind of way, but I mean like in a you can give them to a talk show kind of way, right? Does that, I don't sound like an asshole for saying that, right?
No, sometimes you do, but not in that case.
Not in that case. So I do think it sucks. I understand from Super's perspective. Look, the gaming burnout is so real. Like, I feel like that's something esports deals with as opposed to normal sports, just because with normal sports, you naturally get a break because after practice and shit like that, your body needs a rest, right? With esports, you spend 8 hours a day practicing, going over film, doing whatever, or hell, you even do more, right? But then, like, your leisurely act to relax is also probably playing that game, right? So, like, not only are you practicing Overwatch all the time, but then
you're playing it as a casual all the time,
right?
too.
And then it's like, okay, and let me just chill out and stream. Oh, well, the only thing people want to watch me stream is Overwatch because that's what I play professionally. So I guess I'll play more Overwatch today. So I get it. I think for some people it doesn't matter the game. Like 4 years of doing it on a pro level, you're going to get burnt out on it. Now you throw in all the negativity of Overwatch and the league, especially like over the last year and a half, right? Like, take apart COVID and just as we're prepping for Overwatch 2 and the unknown, like the fact that these guys were supposed to somehow get hyped for this season when they're just now getting like to play the game that they're going to be a professional in. I mean, I don't blame him for waiting this long to decide if he wants to retire. He's probably played a little bit of the game, realized like, this is going to be a lot of work to get used to and like get up to speed. I don't have it in me anymore. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, so Clutch, for his reasoning of being burnt out, like that's a very real reason to move on. But I do think a part of me also says he played this new game, realized the new meta is very drastically different than what he's used to, and more of a tank DPS kind of meta, right, where they're involved in the action. I feel like they're going to be much more like tank players, which changes his game completely as a support player. So I think it's just a part of like, for him, Overwatch 2 probably doesn't feel as exciting because where he was most effective has changed quite a bit. And you're right, that's a whole new position to now kind of learn, a new style of playing. Doesn't seem like he had it in him, and I don't blame him because Overwatch has been like a burden to most people over the last few years that have been involved with it. Like, it hasn't been a fun experience, and we've seen players leaving left and right. I think, you know, you and I spoke about this, like Overwatch, but not this exact thing. It's just, I don't know if Overwatch 2 is like the savior that people want it to be. Like, I don't think it'll be that. You know, I think it'll help, and I think it'll help like initially, but it's still Overwatch.
The weird thing is with this is, and I think you set it up perfectly, is like people think, oh my gosh, we're having a new Overwatch, a breath of fresh air, right? And that's normally the case. You get a new sequel, like look at a new Call of Duty, right? It builds that hype up for the new Call of Duty, and everyone's excited for the league and going from there. Like, Overwatch 2 is a strange sense where it's like, I don't get that same vibe with Overwatch 2.
Because it's Overwatch 1.5.
But it's also like a completely...
There are changes, there are new things to the game, but it's still going to feel and play and the maps and like, I mean, it's going to be very much the same game.
But it's also
New
not
meta,
though. Like
5v5.
it's gonna be from people who play the game. It's gonna be completely different, and I think that's
but
why
for the casuals that come back, it's going to feel like the same game.
I mean, it's gonna look right. I mean,
For me, okay, so for me, I played at least a couple hundred hours Overwatch. I don't have thousands like a lot of people do, and yourself included, but like I have a couple hundred hours in the game, and I can tell you, it's going to feel like Overwatch.
It's the
to
same
me. Like,
thing
I
with Call of Duty. When Call of Duty went from a 4v4 to a 5v5, it's like, hey, look. If you liked Call of Duty, then yeah, you might like this more or less. If you didn't like Call of Duty, it's like, well, it's still Call of Duty. Like it's.
But that happened in a new video game altogether, right? Call of Duty world, but from one game to another in Call of Duty is like drastically different.
See, I think you're underselling the difference that Overwatch 2. I mean, you have Doomfist is now a tank. He was a DPS. You have heroes with completely different. I mean, it's the heroes aren't even.
Those are things that people care about that played the game, though. If you're talking about bringing new people,
but it's a new game from your point, though.
No, but I'm saying it's going to feel and play exactly like Overwatch. I feel it might. We'll see if I'm wrong.
But
I
Call
think
of Duty feels the
game.
same from game to game.
Huh?
Call of Duty's the same from game to game. For a casual Call of Duty player, you could almost throw up any Call of Duty on screen, and they would be like, this could be Modern Warfare 1 or 2. This, like they
so
all.
You think when you buy a new Call of Duty game, it feels exactly like the previous one to you every time you get in? The look, the feel, the maps, the guns, like none of that feels different to you going from one game to the next.
1,000% it's a Call of Duty game. 1,000%. If I know,
I think you're underselling it the other way. Personally, I really do, because like Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2 is going to be the same characters, same maps, a lot of the same abilities. Not all. I know they've made changes. I know some of the characters do different things, but it's going to look and feel from a spectator viewpoint almost like the identical game.
And maybe, but I just think that it's different enough, but at the same time, I think people fear of what happened with Overwatch 1. That's why people are nervous on Overwatch 2. Right? Like people are only...
I think it's a valid reason to be nervous.
Well, yeah, because it's the company behind it right now is Blizzard, right? That's what people are worried about. They have like ultimately no sponsors for the league that cost 20 million plus to get in. Yeah. Right? And for what, the 5th season that this is going to be?
They have an opportunity to prove me wrong.
Right.
Just like Halo did. But I had the same thing with Halo, is like people that loved Halo went into Halo Infinite with the highest of expectations, expecting a brand new game. And it was like a lot of the same of what people had played, worse in several instances. Yeah. But I think Overwatch will just be like the same, new, a little flashier, a little shinier, again, but like the same.
The logic behind gamers and esports, it's almost not even worth debating, because look at games like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is virtually the same thing every single year, minus this is a look
minus, but maps being different, the world being different
somewhat.
Is a big difference.
Sometimes it's the same maps through Call of Duty. They have similar maps.
But I'm saying they start off with like 12 new maps. Or like
here's an M4. Oh, look, now it's a World War II game, so it's going to be a different gun. How many new maps are they introducing in Overwatch 2?
The same. How many new maps are being... 4, I think they said?
Yeah, with like a new game mode and stuff like that. So.
But you're going to sell like 15 of the old maps?
But they'll still have old maps. Yeah, but Call of Duty or Counter-Strike's had old maps. They used the same... altered a little bit.
If we're going to compare Counter-Strike to Overwatch, then this is like a real joke conversation.
Oh, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like you're saying map. I'm just saying here, there's no logic behind people's opinions on these, because... you have Call of Duty where people are saying it's a piece of shit game and they hate it, yet it's still, you know what I'm saying? Like
But Call of Duty was good for 10 years before it became bland.
Right? But it's been Call of Duty for 10 years. They don't reinvent the wheel between every Call of Duty. You can't tell me that they're
I'm not saying they do, but I'm saying
you
get 12 new maps going into a game. It feels different. It goes from World War II to Modern Warfare. Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2 will not be that different.
No, it won't.
It won't be. It'll be this. If you did not like Overwatch 1, chances are, my gut tells me you will not like Overwatch 2.
Right.
You'll
and I would agree with that.
But if you did not like Overwatch 1, it's not going to be like, if you don't like Call of Duty this year, I guarantee you those people go back and buy Call of Duty the next year with the hopes that it's a better game. I think Overwatch will get inflated with a lot of people right when it comes out because streamers will be playing it. Everyone will be playing it. You'll see good numbers the first week or two of Pro League. And I think then it dips, and that's what my gut tells me. I might be wrong, but I felt that way about Halo to a certain extent. And that lived up to those expectations. So I'm negative when it comes to gaming. Most developers short sell or oversell their game and don't deliver. And I expect nothing less from Blizzard, even more so, because we've seen it, Tim, with every game we played from Blizzard has been like a letdown. So to think that this one without the heads of Overwatch League have all changed, the faces have all changed, I just don't see them doing enough to be like, oh, we're going to recapture this audience. No, I think you're going to keep the players that you have. You'll have an influx, and then it'll go back to what it is, which is a fine game. It's just not like
I think that's why Overwatch 2 is a tough sell for a lot of people, because you have the people who are currently playing it are nervous to play Overwatch 2 because it's going to be a different enough game for the people who play it. But then for the people who don't play it, look at it and say, well, it's the same game with one less person. Right. That's the issue. Is for the people currently playing it.
They can do things from a development side to make it more exciting, right? Like make it more of a true FPS feel to the game and make more like the DPS players more valuable in the game. Maybe that makes it more exciting. Who knows? Maybe that stuff is there, but super retiring where this all started from, to me, is like a very worrisome thing, because I think had the game been great in his mind, I don't know if he would have stepped away. Like, it's a new game. You should be so excited and hopefully re-energized instead of feeling like, oh shit, I just played this game. I feel faded. Like, I don't want to do this. That's a nerve-wracking thing to me.
Yeah.
With the decision that he made.
I hope, and I guess only time will tell on truly what that, if his mindset was, look, I'm kind of just done of the pro gaming grind, and he just stays a streamer and whatever, then I guess he was just done with the pro gaming grind.
How weird is that before a new game comes out to feel that way? You know, like you and I as casual fans get so excited weeks, months before releases of certain games. Like our adrenaline is like raged up to a max, just waiting to unload on a new game. And the pro player who is making great money off the game is like, oh, yeah, this is... I'm done. I'm not re-energized to play this. That's worrisome.
Like I said, it is worrisome, but I do understand from the grind aspect of being like, I'm
like, had he retired and this season was under Overwatch 1, I would have been like totally 100% on board with you, Super. This is probably a good decision for your career, but like a new game's coming out in a couple of weeks, you know?
He could always come back.
That's weird. He could. Like, maybe he just needs to step away, and maybe he'll wait to see how it pans out a little bit.
To see how many Overwatch guys come back. You know, like Zachary went to Valorant, and now he's still a free agent, right? He didn't.
Yeah, like it makes sense for some of these guys to like come back and test the waters, right? Because not everybody that left Counter-Strike, just like not everybody that left Overwatch, was an instant success in the game. We've seen people go back to Counter-Strike. I'm sure we'll see some people go back to Overwatch. Like, Overwatch is also in desperate need of big name players, right? Most of their big name players have left, you know, in the past year. So
I'm still curious to see how they handle it's turned into an Overwatch discussion now, but like, because I recently reinstalled it after the last time we talked about 2, and I got kind of hyped up again. So I went and installed Overwatch 1. It's such an outdated game at this point. Like, it's crazy how outdated the game feels, not having like the quality of life things that new games have.
Yeah.
You don't think of it being an old game until you go back and play it, and you're like, oh, like, how do you not have a pinging system? It's unreal. And it's the arrogance of Blizzard to not even go and patch one in since it became a thing. Like,
probably like a 10-minute update.
This is not rocket science. Yeah, just put a pinging system in. But it's also the arrogance of Blizzard that the game is on sale right now. On sale, Anuj. On sale. $20 still.
Great.
Like, that's unreal to me.
We have a beta coming out in less than a month.
Like, I know if you own Overwatch 1, you can play the multiplayer side of Overwatch 2 completely free of charge, blah, blah. Bros. That game needs to be cheap.
We talked about Overwatch going free to play probably 2 years ago on this show.
Like, how is it not free to play yet? I don't get it. Or at least like $10.
At least now with Overwatch 2 like coming up, people might want to go and like, oh hey, let me just get fresh on it again.
I understand the game carries over. So if they're like, hey, we can't make this free to play because then we're not going to make anything on Overwatch 2, fine. But you have a giant sale a month before the game, 2 months before beta. Make that shit like $5. What are we doing here, Blizzard? Anyone who already wants the game owns it. Yeah. You got to get the people who don't want it, but they're like, it's $5. Why not? You know, like, what are we doing here? I don't understand. Like, they're still marketing Overwatch 2 like it's Overwatch 1 on its prime. It's like,
they
bro.
Really are. It's going to be really interesting to see. Like, there's a lot of anticipation from us because we were like Overwatch fans, at least you were a fan of the game. And
I loved the game.
I enjoyed the esport. Like, I mean, going to the grand finals in Philly was one of the coolest things that we've done as an esport memory for me. You know, that was a great event. I hope that it does well. I just have so many reservations because I just don't trust Blizzard the way I used to, right? And like, this is not Microsoft yet. In Microsoft, I trust to a certain extent, but this has none of their fingerprints on it.
They also were in charge of Halo, so
well, yeah, they have their own issues. So, I don't know. Like, I'm not optimistic right now, and super retiring did not help that level of optimism at all.
No, I don't. Like I said, I don't feel great about it. I'm still excited, but I don't feel great.
Who is the face of Overwatch right now? Overwatch League.
You're asking the wrong guy.
That's a problem.
I'm
kind of asking one of the right guys.
Like, if we go to Overwatch League's website, like, what's the first?
Probably like team logos.
You're not wrong. They're showing like their new champion skin.
Yeah.
Here's Moth. Moth. I mean, look, it's what you'd expect. So, you know, they just got to get some more people in there, get some more familiar faces, and I know you still have like hardcore Overwatch fans probably yelling at us like, you guys, there's so many faces of the league, and you don't even know about this guy and that guy. Listen, you're talking from a hardcore aspect. We are now former hardcore fans turned casual fans turned pessimistics of the league. So like we are the perfect example of the ones you want to win over, and we're easy to win over. So maybe we're not even a good example on that one. Like, we're easy to please.
You just need to put out a good product. We're not asking for a lot. Just put out a good product, keep it up to date, keep the meta fun.
And again, I think it will. I truly think when Overwatch 1 started being bad is when they started focusing on Overwatch 2, which almost seems like it would make sense, but I've never seen a game just abandon one game so hard for another game that they also seem to already not be doing great on. So, I don't know. I'm going in there cautiously optimistic, you know? Like JasonR's wife. I still love him, but I've been hurt before. And I just don't want Blizzard queuing up with women. That's kind of where I'm at with this. So, we'll see. Well, let's get into some e-news. In CSGO, NBK was dropped from Mouse for JDC.
Which is like a weird move, because some of the players tweeted out some stuff that made you think it was not a player decision, it was like an org decision.
Which never goes well.
So, he dropped one 3-letter name for another.
Brolin joins NIP.
Like the move. I think NIP needed to make a little bit of a switch, but until Device comes back, not interested in talking about him.
Man, I was watching, so during work, sometimes on my second monitor, I have some like early AM Counter-Strike action going on and like these random tournaments you've never heard of. Did you know Dignitas still is rocking that roster? Like the former NIP boys?
Except for Get Right, he's not on there, right?
Yeah, I don't think so, but still, like I saw... who was it? Forrest
Freiburg.
Yeah, Freiburg, Force. I saw them and I was like,
Yeah.
Lecro. I was like, whoa.
That's crazy.
Like, I didn't even know you guys were still a thing. Like, what do you... Yeah, it's just, I saw them in like a random event and I was like, oh, okay. All right, dude.
There's no stats for Device for the past 3 months. That is crazy.
He's, Nip would probably want that one back. Here's the thing, right? Mental health matters, but so do, roster placements and matches. So I'm sure Nip would be like, Device, we really support your mental health and we wish you the best, but,
like we need you to like
we got to
come back.
this up here.
Yeah, like we gotta get things going.
We made a big deal signing you, and we kind of need you. In Call of Duty, Spart will sub in for Gunless as the majors actually this week, right? Major 2 coming up this weekend. So last minute sub in for the LA Gladiators as Gunless is dealing with non-COVID related illnesses that I guess
I like how that has to be specified.
I know, right? What a world that you never would have thought of it. But yes, it's like, and I guess it's been like pre-existing, as from what I read.
Yeah,
so it's a pre-existing non-COVID related issue going on. So obviously you hope everything is good with Gunless, but last second sub in right before the major, so you know, we'll see. In FPS news, Halo. The Halo show on Paramount Plus is out. I think they're doing one episode a week as far as I can tell. So if you have Xbox Game Pass, I think you get 30 days free of Paramount Plus.
How do you use it? Have you done that?
No, but I think you have to go through like Paramount Plus and log in through your Xbox account. I'm not 100% sure. Look it up. Okay. Google it. But I'm going to save it until more episodes come out. You want to talk about having zero expectations. My expectations were wildly destroyed for this show the more and more I heard about it. Like, essentially, the director spoke to 343, got bare minimum information on the game and the characters, and said, okay, that's all I need, thanks. And 343 was like, sure, man, go for it. So, like, he specifically did not make it anything like the story in the game. It's really not even, like, the same universe character-wise. I heard in episode 1 they released Master Chief's helmet, so you see his face like within minutes of the episode. Which, look, I get it. It's not the Mandalorian. There's no Creed on a Spartan wearing his helmet. But I feel it's a little insulting to the people who grew up playing Halo to not have Master Chief take off his helmet first in a video game. Like, the fact that we first get to see helmetless Master Chief is in some bullshit throwaway money grab show on Paramount Plus. You know, I am not, this is hashtag not my Halo. I'm going to watch it, but hashtag not my Halo. Just know I already don't like it.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how the show is. Have you heard any initial reviews?
I've heard bad. Like, I've heard it's good if you go in with zero expectations of watching a Halo show, which is not good because that's
not what you want to hear.
That's what I wanted. We have our first
show right.
We have our first big budget Halo live action, and apparently it's a complete bust because the guy knows nothing about the game. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, you guys know, like, the story is all right there. Like, why? What are we doing? So I cannot wait for us to watch this so we can review it and I can destroy it, because I want to hate this show so bad.
Yeah, it's gonna be a letdown. I feel I'm not going in with high expectations.
1,000%. In MOBA news, PGL announces that it will host the last major of the Dota 2 Pro Circuit in 2022 right here in Arlington, Texas. So at the esports stadium, August 4th through the 14th. Might make an appearance there. I've actually never been to a Dota tournament in person, other than like
a nice one.
Yeah, like other than like walking by something at DreamHack. But I've never been to one, so I'll probably make an appearance. And TSM coach fired in conflict of interest and unethical practice. So
This is like he's been there since like 2018. You know, he's been like a long-standing figure in that organization. It's kind of interesting because Double Lift was like dating, I think, like the president or something of TSM, like, and there was no conflict of interest. But obviously, what he did had to have been rough.
It says it's not gambling or match throwing related though.
No, but they said it's like whatever it is, it was like it is a big deal, and so
it's such a big deal that like in the coach's statement, he's like, "I'm moving back to China while this is under investigation." Like, while this is under investigation, you did something that's under investigation. That's never a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is,
it's not good.
We know it's big,
so we'll have to get Kevin on the show.
A little bit of an update for you. You have to have Xbox Ultimate.
Oh, yes. Which I think I do.
So I do not. That's like $20 a month plan versus a $10 a month plan.
You know, I'm such a dum-dum that I think I have it out of pure laziness of like, I think I had it on like $1 a month promotion and I just keep forgetting to cancel.
No, you got to have the Ultimate plan. So I don't have that. So you get Disney Plus with that too. Did you know that?
No.
So if you're paying for Disney Plus, you could probably cancel that.
Interesting.
Go look it up.
I'll look it up.
Anybody?
Xbox Game Pass.
If you have Xbox Game Pass, it says that like Disney Plus is renewed with them, so you might have to check that out. See what terms and all that apply. But
Xbox Game Pass is a trove of surprises.
And Disney Plus.
Just you never know what you're gonna get with Xbox Game Pass. They just throw in stuff whenever they want, all willy-nilly. In other news, founder of Navi, aka ZeroGravity, if you saw these pictures, pretty badass in a sense of like
shitty, but yeah, badass.
Exactly right, like badass in a situation that should never have to happen. But ZeroGravity, founder of Navi, obviously Ukrainian. Is now fighting for his country. So you have pictures out there, which is just mind blowing, seeing this guy in like full on military get up, fighting in the war. Unnecessary.
Really, it's crazy to see.
So again, it's one of these weird things where it's like I see the pictures and I'm like, what a badass, and then like, you know, you have that instant reaction, and then you're like, oh, this is kind of shitty, like kind of a downer. In the most confusing rebrand of all time, Andbox, the ownership group behind the New York team, so NYXL and Subliners, rebrands to NYXL. So they rebranded to their Overwatch League team, which was NYXL, which was a shortened version of New York Excelsiors. So they rebranded to the nickname of their Overwatch team, which thus rebranded NYXL, the Overwatch team, to now just being called formally the New York Excelsior, which is obviously the reason why they were called NYXL.
One of those that just didn't make a ton of sense.
Like, it's super hard to say. Like, so I'm sure the casters are still just going to call them NYXL because that rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah, it's a weirdest, interesting rebrand.
Like, I saw that and I was like, wait, what? So I guess RIP to Andbox, because they even had teams. Andbox had teams elsewhere.
Which, like, NYXL makes a little bit more sense for a New York-based team. So, like, maybe that should have just been the way from the beginning. They didn't know they were going to branch out at that time.
Yeah, but it's just weird that it's almost like they're like, you know what, Overwatch is dead, but we really like the name.
To me, wasn't bad branding either. I didn't mind the Andbox branding. I thought it was like
I didn't get it. I mean, it wasn't bad.
I didn't get it either, but like in the sense of like it wasn't like they had like decent merch and the way it was kind of put together. I thought it was fine, you know. So,
but you know what? If there's one thing I know about New Yorkers, is they love themselves some New York. So you throw New York in there.
Something I know about non-New Yorkers is they don't give a shit about New York half the time. So
it's very true.
Could be isolating yourselves a little bit in that way too.
That's very true. And I don't know how to say the guy's name. Frenzini?
Yeah, sure.
Probably not important to know his name as much now, but he is the former Amazon Game Studio, the head of Amazon Game Studio, as he decides to, quote unquote, step down, Anuj. He said he wants to spend more time with his family, so he is stepping down as head of the game studio for Amazon. You know, we'll take it for what he says. He's stepping down to spend time with his family, so I guess we'll take him for his word. But
he is one of the last 6 people playing New World is probably the bigger issue, but who knows?
Yeah, and I know a lot of people will be like, well, Lost Ark is also Amazon Studios. Do not give Amazon Studios.
They are the publisher. Right. That is it.
Do not. That is like you are the one kid on a group project that didn't do anything and you're going to take credit for the A+. Like, do not give them credit for Lost Ark.
Your name can be on it, but you better not say a damn thing about it.
Right. No. New World was your baby. And again, one of those games that were great. I've never played an MMO where I had more fun leveling than I did at any point at end game, but New World was that. So there's that for you. I also haven't even been on Lost Ark though in like 2 weeks, so that's also that. So stay hard, Amazon Game Studios. We'll see. You know what though, from what I understand is like this guy here didn't even have a gaming background whatsoever, and he was kind of a piece of shit. So maybe things will actually turn around based on who they get. So we'll see. We'll see.
Diablo Immortal sign-up is going on right now. So if you're interested in Diablo Immortal, go opt in to the beta, and hopefully you get selected.
I did sign up for the beta because you know what? Full disclaimer, we did play that at BlizzCon like 3 years ago, and it actually was not that bad. So...
No, it wasn't.
I digress all the hate that I had for it because it is play it for what it is. It's a mobile game, Diablo, but hey, just one more game to play while you poop. That will do it though for us. Episode 377 of the Center Ring. It's done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much to Philly Esports for sponsoring the show. Go to phillyesports.gg, sign up for all their tournaments. We will be back next week talking some more esports, talk a little bit more VCT Iceland. We'll preview that more in depth for you guys. And we'll see what else happens. Who knows? Maybe JasonR will play with a girl. We'll talk about that.
Maybe.
Maybe not. Maybe his game will crash some more. Who knows? Follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Join the Discord. Hit us up if you ever see us on. I'm going to go get a heating pad, place it on my neck because I'm a boomer. But for
I understand that all too well. I've been switching between heat and ice.
There you go. We're old. For Anuj, I'm Tim. Love you. Bye. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Let me see this.
Oh, my God. Welcome.
Oh, Disney Plus was just like a 30-day trial program for free.
One of those 30-day trial programs for free with your up-to-paid subscription.
So Ultimate's only $15 a month versus 10. It's actually not that big of a deal.
Is the normal one $10 now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, maybe that's why I kept Ultimate, because I was like, well, there's a game coming out too that you will get on Ultimate, but not the normal one. What is it? Like, I think they're starting to kind of do, you know how they were coming out with like the big games for like day one? That might be for some. Oh, that's what it was. F1. They came out with F1, the racing game, you know? But I think it's only for Ultimate people.
So I just got Ultimate for $1 for 1 month.
Yeah, see, that's what I got suckered into.
I had to cancel this last time because I did it for. I had got it one for 3 months one time for $1.
Yeah, they're always running deals.
Yeah.
Always running some.
So I just changed it. So now I got to cancel it on.
So I don't know. So I'm kind of annoyed at this because I feel like, not knowing anything about technology, this should be able to work. But like, they have MLB The Show on this Game Pass, on the cloud, on console only. But it's like, if it's cloud-based, shouldn't it also be able to be on PC? Pretty simple. Not knowing anything about the technology behind that. If it's all cloud and you're streaming it to a console, couldn't you stream it to a PC and play?
EA Play with Game Pass with Ultimate gives you everything.
That's why I kept it. Yeah, because the extra $5 is essentially you're also playing for EA Play.
But you had EA Play with the regular one. What is the difference between EA Play on Ultimate and regular?
I don't know. I thought EA was for Ultimate. Let me see. They really do a poor job. Their website is so confusing on it.
It really is.
For Game Pass being amazing, they're here it is. Oh, yeah, okay. And Ultimate, you can do the cloud-based gaming in beta at the moment. So Ultimate allows you to play console, PC, and mobile devices. So all three. New games added all the time. Members, exclusive member discounts. Who gives a shit? Play games for the cloud. Free perks including in-game.
I want somebody on Steam Deck to figure out how to hack it to add Game Pass to it.
There's got to be out there already, right?
Let's see. That would be sick. They already said they're working on a Steam Deck 2, so it is better to just wait because the next one's going to be like an OLED screen.
A million times better. So I don't know. Looking at here, they already released it. The Xbox thing for that. I don't know. It almost seems like you could go to the normal PC pass as opposed to the big deal with Ultimate. It allows you to play on both all console, mobile, and your PC.
You can download a Windows on your Steam Deck.
Yeah, there you go.
You can access Xbox Cloud Gaming via Microsoft Edge on Steam Deck as well. Lord only knows how that would be. All right, let me see if Kelly's passed out. I might hop back on for a little bit.
All right, I'm probably gonna hop off and take some fucking pain medicine. Man, and you know what sucks is like it was sore. Like it was like I woke up and I was like, man, I'm a little sore. And then like I went like this and like stretched like a big stretch straight up. I felt it. I felt like it was like a pop or something. And I was like, ooh, oh God. And it was like a good 30 seconds before I could like put my arms down comfortable.
Just move again.
I was like, yep, that's how you get old.
Or out or crickets, one of the two. All right, I'll catch you tomorrow.
All right, bro.
All right, later, bud.
All right, everyone in chat. Canada, love your face. We'll talk to you in